Picture a man. Late 30s. Lives in a normal city. Has a job, a family, tries to pray, tries to be a good Muslim. And lately, he has noticed something he cannot quite put into words. Every time he opens the news, something feels off. Not in a political way. In a deeper way. Like the world is moving faster than it should be. Like things that used to be considered wrong are now celebrated. Like the people who used to hold things together are disappearing one by one. He cannot explain it to his wife. He cannot explain it to his friends. But the feeling will not go away. Here is what he does not know. He is not imagining it. Over 1,400 years ago, the Prophet Muhammad described exactly what this man is seeing and feeling, in detail, in sequence, one by one. And in the next 13 minutes, we are going to go through every single one of those signs together. Some of them you will recognize immediately. Some of them will genuinely stop you. And the seventh one, I want you to pay particular attention to the seventh one, because it is the one that is not about what is happening out there. It is about what is happening in here. Welcome to Gentle Ustaz. If this is your first time here, this channel exists to give you reminders that actually reach your heart, not just your head. Subscribe and turn on the bell right now so you never miss one. Let us get into it. 7 signs. All of them from the Prophet. All of them visible in the world today. We are going through them one by one, and I promise you, by the time we reach the 7th one, the question you are going to be sitting with is not about the world. It is going to be about yourself. Think about your grandparents for a moment. Or even your parents when they were growing up. Think about the things that were considered deeply shameful in their time, things that people did in secret, if at all, because the weight of public shame was real. Now think about those same things today. Not only are many of them no longer hidden, they are celebrated. They are in advertisements. They are in children's content. They are in conversations that happen in offices and schools without anyone flinching. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, told us that one of the signs of the approaching hour is that immorality and shamelessness would spread openly in society. Not gradually hidden. Openly. Proudly. To the point where people who object to it are the ones who feel out of place. Now I am not here to point fingers at individuals. Most people are themselves uncomfortable with where things are going. But here is the thing, the Prophet did not describe this as a tragedy to grieve. He described it as a sign to recognize. And when you recognize a sign for what it is, it changes how you respond to it. Now this one surprises people. Because we live in an age of more information than any generation in human history. You can find the answer to almost any question within 30 seconds. There are more books, more courses, more podcasts, and more videos available today than at any other point in human existence. So how could the Prophet have described a time when knowledge would be lifted and ignorance would spread? Here is what the scholars say about this. The Prophet was not talking about information. He was talking about wisdom. The kind of knowledge that actually changes how a person lives. The kind of understanding that makes someone kinder, more patient, more connected to Allah, more aware of what matters and what does not. A person today can spend 4 hours consuming content and end the day knowing more trivia than they started with, but actually further from understanding how to live well. The deep scholars, the people who carry that living wisdom in their chests, are leaving this world. And the generation replacing them has more access to information and less access to wisdom than any before it. That is exactly what the Prophet described. This one does not need much interpretation. The geological record is public. Multiple scientific organizations that monitor seismic activity around the world have documented a measurable increase in the frequency and intensity of earthquakes over recent decades. The countries that appear in the news after major earthquakes, Turkey, Morocco, Syria, Japan, Indonesia, Afghanistan, the list does not get shorter. It gets longer. The Prophet told us that one of the signs of the hour is that earthquakes would increase and multiply. He said this to people living in 7th century Arabia with no access to global seismic data, no monitoring equipment, and no way of tracking what was happening on the other side of the world. And he was right. The question is not whether this is happening. The question is whether we are treating it as what the Prophet told us it is, a sign, or whether we are just scrolling past the headlines. And now we get to the one that I have heard almost no one talk about properly. This next sign is something every single person watching this video has personally experienced. Every single one of you. Raise your hand, metaphorically, if the last year of your life felt shorter than years used to feel. If you look at a date on your phone and genuinely cannot believe how much time has already passed. If December comes around and you feel like January was 3 weeks ago. This is one of the most universally reported experiences of people living in our time. Not just Muslims. People everywhere, across cultures and age groups, describe the subjective experience of time moving faster than it used to. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, told us that one of the signs of the approach of the hour is that time would contract. That the year would feel like a month. The month like a week. The week like a day. There is no scientific instrument that measures the subjective experience of time. But if you ask the man we described at the beginning of this video whether time feels faster than it used to, his answer is immediate. Of course it does. And the Prophet told us this would happen. The Prophet described a sign that, to the people who first heard it, must have seemed almost impossible to imagine. He said that you would see barefoot shepherds, meaning people from the most humble and poor backgrounds, competing with each other to build the tallest structures in the world. In 7th century Arabia, this would have been one of the hardest things to picture. Today, the countries of the Gulf region, the Arabian Peninsula, the very land the Prophet was speaking about, are home to the tallest buildings ever constructed in human history. The Burj Khalifa. The Kingdom Tower still under construction. The mega-developments across Saudi Arabia and the UAE. These nations, which within living memory were among the least developed in terms of infrastructure, are now in a documented and very public competition to build higher than each other. The Prophet did not have an architect, an economist, or a historian to consult. He had revelation. And what he described is exactly what you can see on any satellite view of the Arabian Peninsula today. The Prophet described a time when killing would multiply to the point where neither the one doing the killing nor the one being killed would fully know what they were dying for. When you read that description and then look at the state of conflict in the world today, the wars that have been running for years with no clear resolution, the violence that is reported so constantly it barely feels shocking anymore, the situations where entire populations are losing their lives, and the international community cannot agree on basic facts about why, the Prophet's description does not feel distant. It feels like a summary of the current news cycle. The most sobering part of this sign is not the violence itself. It is the normalization. The Prophet did not just say killing would increase. He said it would lose its meaning. That is the part that should wake every Muslim up. When the loss of human life stops feeling like an emergency, something fundamental has shifted in humanity's relationship with its own conscience. And now we get to the 7th sign. The one I asked you to hold in the back of your mind from the very beginning. Because every sign we have covered so far describes something happening out there. Something you can point to in the news, in science, in the observable world. But this 7th sign is different. This one asks you to look inward. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, described a time when people who called themselves Muslims would gradually follow the same patterns as those before them who left their faith, step by step, in the same way that one shoe matches the other. Not through a dramatic single decision. Not through a sudden rejection of Islam. But gradually. Through small compromises that pile up slowly over years. Through prayers that are rushed because something else always feels more urgent. Through lines that are crossed one at a time until a person looks back and does not recognize how far they have drifted from where they were. Now you might be thinking, that is not me. I still pray. I still fast. I still consider myself a Muslim. And I believe you. But here is the honest question the Prophet's description puts in front of every one of us. Is my practice of Islam today something alive and real, something that actually changes how I treat people, how I handle money, how I spend my private hours, or has it slowly become a habit that sits alongside my life rather than running through the middle of it? That question does not have an easy answer. but it is the most important question in this video. Remember the man we started with. Late 30s. Feels like something is off but cannot name it. Every sign we covered today is something he has lived through and witnessed. The world moving faster. The content getting coarser. The scholars disappearing. The earthquakes. The towers. The headlines that stopped shocking him. He was not imagining it. He was seeing exactly what the Prophet told us would be visible when the hour draws near. But here is the thing about signs. Their purpose is never just to inform. Their purpose is to redirect. The Prophet did not describe these signs so that we would sit back and watch them like a documentary. He described them so that when we saw them, we would treat them as a personal alarm, as a call to stop drifting and start returning, as a reminder that this world is moving toward something, and the most important question is not what the world is doing. It is what you are doing. 7 signs. All visible right now. And the 7th one is still the most important question you can ask yourself today. Which of these 7 hit you the hardest? Comment below with the number. Share this video with a Muslim who needs to see what is already happening around them. Subscribe to Gentle Ustaz so you do not miss what is coming next week. May Allah keep us among those who see the signs, understand what they mean, and return to Him before it is too late.